In secondary school, my classmates and I used to really love playing card games like bridge, and we would sometimes play them in the classroom during recess or breaks. There was once when my form teacher caught us playing the game. We thought that we were in big trouble after that incident. To our surprise, he was very open-minded and did not discourage it since it was a thought-simulating game. That was a day that really impressed upon me how he was different from the other teachers I have met. He was adaptable and very willing to put in the effort to understand how his students think and feel. After we graduated, my classmates and I even met him to have a few games of bridge outside school. Being an English teacher myself today at the Right Connection, I love sharing ideas and having discussions with my students about things that interest me. This allows me to share more about my love for English with them and inspire them to develop an interest in English themselves. I remember having a student who joined us with a strong dislike for writing. After observing that he gets particularly excited whenever we spoke about Marvel movies in class, I made that instant connection that he was fond of action movies, like those involving Captain America and Spider-Man.
Are you saying you're the main
character? I'm the main character. No. I'm just saying that in movies, there are a lot of stories that are like that, okay? Where you fall into a very deep hole. So you can use an abyss to describe it, an abyss of darkness. To pique his interest in writing, I decided to bring in references to these movies during our discussions in class and encouraged him to write action-packed scenes in his compositions. He soon became interested in writing and always submitted interesting journal entries detailing his adventures of the week. Being able to create such an impact did not come naturally to me though. It is an understatement to say that I had butterflies in my stomach on my first day of teaching. Although I was well prepared, I was still nervous about conducting a 2-hour session for a class of students. What are these students going to think about my lesson? And I certainly hope that nothing unusual happens during the lesson, were some thoughts that filled my mind. Thankfully, when I started the class, I was greeted by the friendly smiles of many students of that class. That reminded me that what's most important in that moment was to relax and have an enjoyable class with my students so that they can learn English and writing well. The lesson turned out to be awesome, and I had some fruitful discussions with students about ramen, which was a key part of the comprehension passage for that lesson. The teaching apprenticeship program at TWC has prepared me very well. Part of my biggest takeaway was that I got to understand better how to be open and flexible as a teacher when managing students. For example, rather than to think that a student is disrupting the class, the trainers taught me that it is important to always consider their underlying motivation and see how we can change our strategy to support their learning. Most, if not all students, want to do well in class. So if we spend some time and effort to try and understand their behavior, we will likely be able to come up with a good solution to facilitate the child's learning. I would like to thank my form teacher in secondary school and tell him that I am very grateful for his guidance and companionship. Although I was neither the most well-behaved nor brightest student in class, my form teacher never thought that I was unteachable. On top of that, he was very willing to sacrifice his time for me when I needed advice on my schoolwork and life in general. Without him, I would not have gained the confidence to work harder, aim higher, and become who I am today. His patience and self-sacrificial spirit are values that I deeply respect. I am thankful that today, as a teacher myself at TWC, I can embody the same values and inspire the next generation.